I cannot get this thing to plug in. Why can't I get this thing to fucking plug in?
Well, it's because you're trying to get it into the USB outlet, you ding
Are
dong.
you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Okay.
Jesus.
Let's try this again.
Whether it makes you laugh, cry, scream, or fly, there's a song for every emotion. We're Mike and Priya, and we talk about the songs that make up the soundtrack to your life. Because life is in the lyrics.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Life is in the Lyrics. And as usual, we'll be yapping about the role music and lyrics play in our lives. But first, let's catch up a bit because we didn't really get to do that last week. We both had some getaways recently, so let's talk about how those went.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, where was your getaway?
My getaway was in Gay Paris.
Gay Paris, that's right. Yes.
Oui, oui, ha, ha, ha.
And what did you do when you were there?
Well, we ate, we saw stuff, we ate.
You saw stuff? You were in like one of the most historically important
Correct.
cities in the world, and you saw stuff?
We saw stuff. Well, listen, I've been to Paris, I think 5 or 6 times before. So I've done all the main touristy things, but we definitely wanted to hit some of we saw Notre Dame because it had recently been renovated or refinished.
After the fire. Yeah.
Yes.
So were you able to go in?
Yeah, we were. It was really,
nice.
it's really beautiful. And I wish I had photos to compare from before.
Right.
I'm sure I could look those up online, but they did an amazing job. And it's just that place is, but we saw so many churches. Like we went to Sacré-Cœur. We went to, I think maybe 3 other churches from different millennia. Like one was it had to be from like medieval times. It was just gorgeous and huge. I have to say that Notre Dame, I think, was one of the smaller churches compared to a few of the others that we saw. Yeah. Like Sacré-Cœur is not so big, but one of the other ones we saw that was very close to this big shopping mall, strangely, it was enormous. I feel like you could fit Notre Dame right in the middle of it.
Did you confess your sins when you were in these churches?
I tried, but I just figured that there was only so much time in the day.
Yeah, you were only there for a week.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be enough. But we ate so much food. So that was my trip. We ate our way through Paris. We had a lot of amazing desserts because the French do
they
vegan,
know butter.
And
you're vegan, right?
Vegan desserts amazingly. I had this hazelnut mousse cake that was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and it was fucking amazing.
I don't like moussey.
It was one of the best things I've ever put in my mouth, and I've put some good things in my mouth.
Jesus.
I meant desserts. I've had a lot of good desserts, Mike, you dirty perv.
Yeah, that didn't take long. Okay. Well, that's amazing. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, tell us where you went.
I went something just as exotic and exciting.
Yes.
I went to an Airbnb in Coburn, Ontario.
That's right. How exciting.
Yes. It was my mom's 81st birthday. So
Oh my God, really? 81?
81. Yep.
Oh, Vi, she is looking good.
She is looking good. Yeah. So we went to Coburn and it was
It's Colborne.
Colborne?
Colborne. Yeah.
We went to Colborne for my mom's birthday, and my aunt was there. My sister came in from Ottawa. There was Dawn, the dogs. It was lovely. And thank you very much because it was your little property out in the country.
It was. And it was the first time you helped me pack up
Toronto.
a whole fucking van full of shit that I had picked up here to take to that place when I first bought it like 5 years ago. But you have not seen it.
Yeah, that was my first time. It's funny that I've now been there without you actually being there.
That is a little weird, but I'm glad you actually got to go finally. So do you want to tell me about all the things that need to be fixed in this place?
So I got a list. So next time next time I go, I'll be going with you and I'll be bringing my tool belt.
Okay, amazing. There's no such thing as Mike going to a place and just being like, oh, that was great. Didn't see a thing I would change.
No. Well, actually, I did go looking for your toolkit at one point because I'm like, I could just fix this. Or I could just do that.
What were you going to fix?
There were just little bits and bobs of things like this was loose. The plug, the one plug outlet was a little rattly. And I'm like, I could just tighten all this up. I could do this.
I know you could. Speaking of which, so you know I'm moving to a new place.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows.
And since you love fixing things so much,
Ceiling fans need to come down.
ceiling fans need to come down. Ceiling fans need to be put up.
Yeah, I think we shared with our little listeners that you've basically got the schedule all sorted out for me.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Like, are you around this weekend? Or?
It's recorded. Oh, this weekend? Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I
Okay.
really want you to see the place, and I'm curious to hear some ideas that I'm sure you'll have for what we can do in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what else is going on? What have you
Well,
got planned coming up?
I mean, I want to talk a little bit more about Vi's birthday because you
Okay.
sent me some photos. So
Oh, yeah.
it was really funny because I was in Paris and you're sending me photos on WhatsApp and you're saying, Mom's having a great time. And you'd show me these videos of you guys, of your mom just having a glass of wine in the living room or all of you in the hot tub. Was Don not in the hot tub?
Don did not come into the hot tub.
Ever?
No.
Okay. Is he not a hot tub guy?
He is, but he said he forgot his bathing suit.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he just did not want to sit in a hot tub with his
You-
mother-in-law and his aunt-in-law.
Right. And his sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I think he would have with Angie, but he said he really forgot his bathing suit. But Don doesn't forget anything. Don's the kind of guy, as we leave the house, he's like, have you got your keys? Have you got your wallet? Have you got your hat? He remembers everything.
Mm-hmm.
I get annoyed at that questioning. And then I get about 10 paces away from the door.
Then you
oh,
forget
shit,
something.
I forgot my fucking keys or something like that. So
Oh,
then I have
man.
to go back.
Yeah. That's got to be
Yeah.
annoying, That he's always right.
He's not always right. I mean,
Well,
you know,
when we were in
he's
the car
listening to this
today.
now. So don't say,
Hmm.
don't be saying that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Don.
I'm just saying that when we were in the car, you were told me something about how many times he was right and how many times you were right. And let me tell you that the curve is way in Don's favor.
Whose side are you
way.
on, lady?
There's no sides here.
You got to
I'm just-
pick a side.
Facts are facts.
Yeah, just enough of that. Let's
Okay.
move on.
Let's move on. Okay.
I wanted to tell you about this invitation that I got. Vince, who I've mentioned before, he
Yes.
sends me this text and he's like,
Isn't he the one you almost missed the concert for?
yes, that's true. So I hope Vince doesn't mind, but I'm going to read out the text that he sent me. It's just, I'm like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into?
As you're doing that, I'm just going to say that we're having a drink tonight as we do this podcast. Mike is having his gin and Dubonnet. It's a classic Mike drink, Mike and Don drink. I feel like you guys have to name it.
Right.
Like just give it a name that is you guys, because I've never tasted that drink before.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I got this from that other podcast, right?
Well,
I've
yes,
totally
you mentioned
stolen
that.
this. Well, it's actually the Queen. It's the Queen's favorite drink. Well, when she was alive,
Not anymore.
it was the Queen's
in
favorite
heaven?
drink. Yeah.
Was it really? This is a
Yeah.
very interesting drink for the Queen to be drinking, I think.
Mhm.
It's very punchy. It's very strong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, she liked
She had a
good
good
She
constitution.
liked a good stiff drink, huh? Good stiff one.
Don't be dissing our dead queen.
All right, what? Let's read this text out.
So Vince sends a text. It
Mm-hmm.
starts with the text comes in with a link to this Solid Pink disco.
What's that?
And then the message that follows says, "Hey, I need a dancing queen, and I just know the one," with a finger pointing emoji.
Uh-huh.
And it's like his partner's away in Vancouver that weekend, and tickets are bought on me. So I'm going to a Solid Pink disco event that's hosted by some drag queen from.
So this is a dance party?
It's a dance party at History,
Oh.
which is like way out in the East End,
Way, way out in the beaches.
and doors open at 10 o'clock.
Oh.
Okay, let me tell you what I'm usually doing at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, I know.
So next Saturday, I'm going out to a drag hosted, and it's like one of those RuPaul drag race
Okay.
contestant people.
Oh, I want to know
Never seen
who,
the show.
'cause Okay, how can you still have a gay card and not have seen a single episode of RuPaul's Drag Race?
I know. It's not my thing.
But how do you know that if you've never seen it?
I've seen clips of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen, little snips on social media
Yeah.
or on the internet or whatever. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Okay, I've watched many seasons of it, and I will say that now it's kind of repetitive and
Yeah.
redundant. But when you watch, like I would say, watch one of the best seasons and just watch the runway part or Snatch Game. You've got to watch Snatch
What's
Game.
Snatch Game?
Okay, Snatch Game is the funniest fucking thing. It's like a game show they do. And every
On
drag...
the RuPaul
yeah,
thing?
and RuPaul hosts it. And then they have 2 celebrity judges who ask questions. They ask questions, judges of the drag queens. And the drag queens have to take on the persona of a celebrity.
Oh, okay.
So it can be very funny and it can also be very, very not funny.
Oh, yeah?
And that's my favorite part of it. But then I love watching the actual runways just to see just to watch these queens strut. So I would say just watch that. Even if you just watch a Snatch Game or 2.
Okay, maybe what I'll do, a RuPaul night.
Yes.
Get some drinks.
Yes.
Put on our fat pants.
And then we'll put on our own little runway show.
Oh, jeez, no, that's not going to happen. So the host is Trixie.
Oh yeah, Trixie. What is that? That's not just her name. It's Trixie something, isn't it?
Oh no, just says Trixie.
I know.
Oh, Trixie Mattel.
Yes.
Trixie Mattel.
She's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to see Trixie Mattel host a solid pink disco starting at 10 o'clock at History. So you know what this means. Doors are going to open at 10.
That means it's not going to get
This
started.
bitch is not going to come out to like midnight or 1 o'clock.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah. I shouldn't complain if Vince is listening, which I'm quite confident
It's not
he's
a complaint. It's just that we don't have the energy to stay up that late anymore.
No.
Back
I
in
got to
the
get my
day-
mojo back, man.
I know. Remember when we'd go dance? Like, remember, we have had some really fun nights
We have. We were
on
also
Church
like
Street.
20 years younger.
I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we used to go dancing and then we'd go to Chinatown and we'd be home at like 4 in the morning.
You brought this Chinatown.
Have you never been to Chinatown with me?
No. The only time I went to Chinatown with you is we went for dim sum with your family once. And I tagged along to your gaggle of girlfriends. We went out. Remember, Nicole had that. She had hurt her hand,
Yeah.
and we went bar hopping.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Nicole had.
I do remember when
injured her hand.
I do remember that because Nicole, crazy woman that she is,
She's not crazy. She's just
come
full
on.
of beans.
She was opening a can,
Mm-hmm.
okay, of who knows, chickpeas or something. And she didn't open it all the way because their can opener wasn't great. So she just tried to
Rip it.
wrench it out and it cut right through the tendon on her finger.
Oh,
and so
jeez.
now her finger is always going to be crooked.
Yeah.
Just a crooked finger. Do you know what they call it when a guy's penis is crooked?
Oh, I don't know it off my head.
Peyronie's disease.
Peyronie's disease?
That's what they call it, a disease.
I don't think they should call it a disease.
Well, I don't-
That's just the way you're born.
You can correct it, but it involves surgery. Scar tissue.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure it's called a disease. Yeah, it's Peyronie's disease. I don't know why they call it a disease.
Have you had many partners with Peyronie's disease?
I believe that my ex gave himself Peyronie's disease probably by fucking his mistress really hard.
What?
Yeah,
Can you? That's not a disease. That's an injury.
that's true. That's true. I know, but they call it Peyronie's disease.
Okay, hold on a second.
It's a condition in which fibrous scar tissue forms in the deeper tissues under the skin of the penis. That's what it is. And
well,
why
why would they use disease? Because that seems
don't
like an
know.
odd term.
what is the cause of Peyronie's disease? Okay.
Fucking
Penile-
your mistress really hard.
Yeah. It can be linked to penile trauma, genetic predisposition, and potentially certain connective tissue disorders. So I guess that part, because it could be predisposition. So that's Peyronie's disease. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how we
Well,
got to talk about that, but
Yeah, that's.
I feel like an episode is not complete unless we're talking about snatch or penis. Okay? And we've done both in this episode already. So let the games begin.
Well, okay, so the theme of this. Oh, Jesus. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on a second. Okay, what did you just say? You said,
I said we've covered snatch and penis in this episode, so we're ready to go.
right. Well, so far, this episode is fitting really well with the theme of the episode because, little listeners, this episode's coming out the day after April Fool's Day.
You just can't read the script, can you?
Yeah, but I'm doing my own lead in.
okay,
I'm just ad-libbing. Yeah. So all of that fits really well with the theme of this episode. Now, this week, although we're a day late, we thought we'd give a nod to April Fool's Day and go through some songs with the word fool in them.
Yeah.
And who better to talk about an episode with the word fool in it than these two fools?
What you talking about, Willis? Who you calling a fool?
Who you calling fool?
Fool?
What were you saying last night?
Oh my God.
Last night. So last night I called Priya. Okay, so at the time of recording, it doesn't matter. Last night.
I love how you like to say things.
I know.
At the time of
I know.
recording.
Well, I was thinking, well, when if this comes out, what will it mean? Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Nobody cares at the time of recording.
No. So I called Priya last night.
Yeah.
So I called Priya
I
last
said it
night.
again.
What?
Yeah. Mm.
I called Priya last night and I was asking her about something. I don't know. I was editing the podcast. Oh no, I know what it was. I was talking about. I was asking you some questions about the podcast. I had some questions about it, and so no, you know what it was. You sent me a voice memo.
Oh, I did.
Or a text.
Yes, I did. We should play that. I don't know if this is going to make sense because you don't watch The Voice, but I do think you might enjoy watching The Voice now that we're doing this podcast because it's really interesting seeing the contestants being coached by these crazy stars who you wouldn't necessarily think would be very good coaches. Anyways, that's not what I was calling to say. What I was calling to say was that I was watching one of the battles and two people are singing against each other. And I was thinking, oh my God, well, that guy's going to win the battle, but then the other coach is going to steal that guy. I just know it. I can feel it. I know it's going to happen. And all the way until the very last second, I was like, yep, she's going to steal him. And she didn't. And I was like, oh, okay, weird. So now I'm watching another pair battle. And they haven't started battling yet. They're just being coached. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. That guy's going to win, but then she's going to pick him and she's going to steal him. And I'm like, wait a second. I just had that thought 7.5 minutes ago. All right. So,
little listeners, this is what I got to deal with.
And Mike responds by saying, and the moral of this story is don't take gummies and watch The Voice.
Yeah.
Well...
Yeah.
What can I say?
So anyways, we had a really good chat.
Did we? Because weren't you doing something funny?
Well, you had said something and then I was like, wooba dooba dooba. I was trying to read.
You were like, Shabizi Wadizi or something.
It wasn't Shabizi. No.
Shabuzi. I don't know what you were doing, but it was making me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
And I had no control over my laughter. And it was just nonsense.
Point being, this episode about fools.
Oh, man.
You got two fools talking about fools.
You've got the masters of fools right here.
Here we are.
All right. Let's get on with it.
The concept of the fool appears in various popular musical songs. That's just, all songs are musical, aren't they? Jesus.
I took that from the interwebs.
Often exploring fears of folly, naivete, or being taken advantage of. And who can't relate to that?
Amen, sister. We've all been fools for love, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Preach. Okay, so I'm really curious because there were tons and tons of songs.
Oh, there's so many.
So many songs. I only picked 3 because, I mean, I knew a lot of the songs and I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. But 3 of these are songs that I really, really love. And then there was one that I kind of just discovered. I'm like, what is this song?
Okay.
We'll talk about that one later. But my first song is by one of my favorite bands of all time, The Beatles, Fool on the Hill.
Yes.
Did you have that one?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like this song, okay, I knew this song from a long time, right? I've loved the Beatles since I was a kid. Can I just say something that did not come up in our Guilty Pleasures episode? Because as I was thinking about it later, I was thinking, how did I forget to mention that one of my all-time guilty pleasures when I was a kid, I used to have these kinds of headphones on and I would just listen to the Anne Murray album on repeat.
Oh, Anne Murray, yeah.
We'll be shadows in the moonlight. Darling, I'll meet you at midnight. Hand in hand we'll go, dancing through the Milky Way. Do you know that song?
That's Anne Murray?
That's Anne Murray.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Anyways, I was obsessed with her.
Anne Murray,
It's very not cool, right?
No, but what was her na 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 na.
Oh God, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have
What
to look that
I
up.
learned forever is untrue, and if I dare to take it,
But she
I
was
would
Canada's
fly.
songbird. That's what they called her.
away with you. Was that not Anne Murray?
I don't know. I don't
All right.
recognize that song. I'm trying to look it up, but
It's a bird, something bird. The something bird.
okay, let's look up song
To-
about a bird. Okay, it comes
to
up.
fall away.
Snowbird?
Snowbird.
Okay.
Snowbird. Is it Snowbird?
She also had Bluebird.
Bluebird?
And a bluebird on my wing. No, is that the right song, I wonder? 6 o'clock alarm would never ring.
Oh.
Is that her?
That's Anne Murray?
I don't know,
that's
but I'm
not Anne
wondering
Murray.
if that's Bluebird. Okay. Well,
And it rings and oh, the Monkees sang that.
the Monkees sang
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah.
right. Okay.
Okay.
As a fool.
Use a fool.
For my Anne Murray with her short cropped hair. But anyways, I digress. So The Fool on the Hill is from their Magical Mystery Tour album, written by Paul, not John. But this song, I don't even know what to say. The fool on the hill sees the sun going down. You know the song, right? And the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. And it has some cool instrumentation, like flutes and stuff on it.
Was this when they were really starting to get into the drugs? Yeah.
Yes, and their whole Maharishi
Right.
era.
Is it Maharishi or
Maharishi.
Maharada? Maharada?
Maharaja
Maharaja.
means king. Maharishi is more of a yogi,
Oh, okay.
like a spiritual guru. So yeah, you definitely can hear the impact of their time in India. But I just love this song so much because it's about this fool on a hill, or like a hermit who stays away from civilization and stuff. And it's just kind of cool but he's not a fool. He sees everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think this song is one of their not underappreciated, but it's not as.
It was a big hit for them.
Was it though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Fool on a Hill was like, that was a big song for them.
I mean, critically it was, although one guy really hated it. But, actually he said, it's the only item on a disc that is not distorted so much that you can't understand the lyrics. But anyways, most of the reviews were excellent for it. I don't know how it did in terms of the charts, but it was, what I loved about the Beatles was that they had very distinctive eras, right? They had their like really help, I need somebody, like really kind of pop, happy, upbeat tempo songs. And then they had their whole like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and Strawberry Fields Forever.
Well, so much was happening though at that time, right?
Yeah.
Because, they started in the early 60s, the pin suits, the short hair.
Yep.
And then it went into the late 60s and 70s where it was drugs and free love.
Long hair and all that.
Hippie.
They went through a lot of phases. And geez, I remember once being in a car and just playing a game, and on a road trip. Like, let's see how many Beatles songs we can name. We got to like 100.
Really? Who were you with?
I was with my ex. But I could not believe how many Beatles songs I actually knew. And I couldn't believe that there were 100 that.
Well, how could you
came
not
easily.
believe that? You're one of their biggest fans.
I am a
You
huge
keep telling
fan.
us about.
I don't think I've mentioned them that many times on the podcast. Have I really?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
It
we've
comes
never-
up at least once every podcast.
Definitely not. Taylor comes up once every podcast.
Actually, I think the Beatles have come up more than Taylor.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good. It's interesting that Fool on the Hill was not a song about love,
Right.
because my view with most of the songs that I have on my list, they're all about love.
Yep.
Like there's this
There
equation.
I go again. Yep.
There's this equation. I don't really understand. I tried to find some information about why is the word fool tied so closely to the concept of falling in love. And there's some stuff written about it. I would love to dig a little deeper into why a lot of songs, there's such a repertoire of songs about love, but I guess it's an easy target.
Well, that's why I looked online. I just Googled the fool in popular culture. And that's where that, at the beginning we were talking about how the concept of the fool appears, often exploring those themes of naivete or being taken advantage of. Because the other concept of the fool is, I guess, sort of like the court jester kind of fool.
Yeah.
Just.
Okay, little listeners, I don't know if you can hear about, but there's a dog in a backyard in my neighborhood that's barking. So I apologize.
Maybe that's Riva downstairs.
No, it's not. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all I was going to say is that
No,
it's
so
a
the
very,
concept.
it's a very common like concept, not concept, but like a very like a trope. It's a
But
trope.
why is falling in love considered foolish?
Oh my God. Have I told you my dating stories?
Yes. But when you were falling in love, it wasn't foolish. I love my husband. I don't think it's foolish. But I just think it's interesting in our culture that it's acceptable concept that if you fall in love,
You're a fool.
you're a fool.
Well, I think, at least in the songs that I have identified, the next two songs, which are about love, it's speaking about being a fool in a relationship that doesn't work out. So I think that's more where it comes into play. It's like you can be a fool in love because you just fall headlong first and it doesn't always work out. So,
Well, a fool, according to the online dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, a person who acts unwisely or imprudently, a silly person. So when you think about that definition and you tie that to falling in love.
well, think of the first line of Elvis Presley's song. Wise men say only fools rush in. So I think that's kind of it, right? Like if you can't look at love logically.
Well, fool, yeah.
But I can't help falling in love with you. I mean, I think that's it, right? Like you go headlong because it's hormones and it's chemistry and it's pheromones and it's all of that, and it's not logic and practicality and is this the right thing or person for me? So I think that's kind of where the concept of the fool comes in.
Yeah, okay.
Well, what are some of the songs on your list? Because maybe we can examine this idea through the song.
Yeah, Only Fools Rush In was one of my songs. And then one of the other songs that came up for me that I hadn't heard in ages, Erasure's Ship of Fools.
Okay.
Do you remember that song?
Oh God, yeah. I remember Erasure. Wait, how's that one go? Da 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 da. No, that's not that song, is it?
No. It was one that I recalled the title, but I couldn't remember the musicality of the song. So I had been listening. I was listening to it over and over, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this totally reminds me. This takes me back." So that was a song I do recall. I do remember being in high school and going to these like alt dances where they play all this Depeche Mode and these bands, and listening to that music and definitely remembering that song.
His voice, first of all, is so cool. But I feel like that was a very 80s type of voice.
Yeah.
And we don't get those voices now.
No, because they're so friggin' auto-tuned.
Yeah, is that it? Is that what it is?
I think so. I think it's because they're so processed now.
I
Although I would think there's probably some processing in that as well, of course. But
it's just there's more. There's so many colors to the voice.
Yeah. So the lyrics in this song, the song starts off with, "I can't believe what's happening to me. My head is spinning. The flowers and the trees are encapsulating me and I go spinning. He was the baby of the class, you know. He really didn't know that 1 and 1 was 2 and 2 were 2 or 4. He was the baby of the class, you know. He really didn't know that. Oh, what a poor soul." And then the chorus is, "Ooh, do we not set on a ship of fools? Ooh, why is life so precious and so cruel?" To me, this song is about him kind of falling in love with another boy and feeling foolish about that. Ian Grittens from Melody Maker said, "For once, Ship of Fools has a great hook like a lump in the throat, which he levers round, lost in a rich sound all about regret and wry sorrow. For once, not clear what he's singing about, and I'm really not bothered. It's touching." So interesting, because when I listened to that song again and the lyrics, I interpreted it as he was singing about falling in love with another guy and feeling foolish about that. So it is. So I do wonder then I wonder whether it's fools or anything else. How much do we project onto a song?
It's all
In
interpretation,
terms of
right?
meaning? Yeah.
I
Some of
really
them are
do feel
really.
that.
Taylor Swift tells a story in all her songs. Some songs are, even the Elvis Presley song. how does it go?
Wise men say.
Wise men say only fools rush in. I mean, it's very clear what that song is about. But then you have these other songs that are a little more ambiguous.
Yeah.
And it gives you the opportunity to kind of put your own meaning on it.
Yeah, to put your own experience onto it. I definitely feel that that's the case with a lot of music, because oftentimes when I like a song and then I look it up and I hear what it's actually about, I think, even when we were talking about U2, a lot of their songs, like Where the Streets Have No Name, I had no idea that it was about classism.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like how would that even come into my head?
Yeah.
So it's very subjective. I think music is very subjective.
And also what mood you're in.
And also what mood you're in.
All right,
Yeah.
what else do you have on your list, Priya?
Okay, I'm going to save that one for later because it's one of my favorite songs by that artist. But let's go to Foolish Games by Jewel. Do you remember this song?
Yes.
Yeah, this is such a great song, and I kind of miss her voice too. She had a very folksy style, but it didn't feel dated, I guess. It felt kind of current, and I just really like all the
Dig it.
I dig it. I like all the layers in her voice, and just her voice had so much charisma to it. But I love this song, and I always thought of it as just, like a ballad about being in love with somebody who doesn't love you back. And for once I was right. It's about, being in love with somebody who doesn't have the same depth of feeling. Like they're into you, but you're in love with them. So I just loved this song. And
How many times have you been a fool in love?
oh my God. Well, let's see. Like actually? Oh,
And
that's
I
a
and I don't
question.
think I think we should put a parameter on this.
Yeah.
I don't think relationships that don't work out,
You don't think those count?
I don't think they count.
Why not?
Because I don't think because a relationship doesn't work out doesn't mean that you're foolish.
Okay.
I think if you I would say a difference foolish in love would be something like you met someone and you were like infatuated and you
Yes.
made some questionable decisions.
Ding, 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 ding.
No.
Been there, done that.
No, but I mean, 3 years, 2 years, 7 years, I don't think that's necessarily
Right.
a reflection of being foolish. I think that's just, two people that have figured out that this is not the right, these puzzle pieces don't fit long term.
I like the way that you think about that. I would say that I was definitely a fool recently, like about a year ago. I don't know if I would say a fool in love because it was sort of like pre-love, right? So we hadn't been dating long enough for me to think like, oh my God, we're in love. But it was heading there.
Yeah.
And it was all the infatuation, all the,
Right.
The butterflies and just all of that stuff. And then it just went, ooh.
Was that after you had sex?
No, we had sex a few times and it was great. It was just when he freaked out and he was like, oh.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, and it was a bit of love bombing.
Because your sex is so great. That's why I freaked out.
Hey, listen. One thing.
Just leave it at that.
Okay.
Just
Never
leave
mind.
it at
All
that.
right. Fine. But yeah, so definitely that time. And I'm sure many, many times before, but that's a very good question. I can't really think of other times in recent memory. So I'd have to go back to kind of like my university days, I guess. What about you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely have made some foolish decisions in my initial, enthusiasm when I've met somebody. So, yeah, but again, I didn't have a lot of long-term, I haven't got a lot of experience with long-term relationships other than the one that I'm in. And I came out late. So most of my experiences were foolish, I would say.
But then again, is it foolish, really?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier.
I know.
But I think it's also, you got to be a bit of a fool
You got
and get
to.
those, that experience and
And open yourself up.
yeah, open yourself up. What you don't like, what you do like, what works for you, what you're willing to compromise on, where's that line that you're like, okay, I can actually deal with this. I always find it interesting, these people that we know who are they've got this list and they're so committed to their list about everything the partner has to be or have.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's kind of crazy because you're limiting yourself so much. And these are concepts. Like there might be some definite things like, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who, I don't know, is a smoker.
Right.
Or who has an addiction, or, something that, is more like that versus the person I date has to be taller than me. I think that's just kind of odd because like if the success of your relationship is so built on your partner being taller than you, that to me is just an odd characteristic.
Listen, there are a lot of women who have that on their list.
I know.
So I feel bad for all the short men out there.
Well, and also, you're just limiting your options.
You are. That's true. And in physicality terms, you need to be attracted to somebody, obviously.
Exactly.
But, you don't need to be so specific. He doesn't need to be 6'2" and have dark hair, not blonde hair, not red hair. But I did want to say one interesting thing as I was reading the lyrics for Foolish Games. I was like, what does this song remind me of? It reminds me of another song, and then I figured it out. It reminds me of Wildest Dreams by Taylor.
Oh.
Because, so here's lyrics from Foolish Games. You're always the mysterious one with dark eyes and careless hair. You are fashionably sensitive, but too cool to care. And then from Wildest Dreams, he's so tall and handsome as hell. He's so bad, but he does it so well. I can see the end as it begins. It's kind of like both of these songs are about guys who are like, they're just there for the experience of it. They're not there for the love. But the girls are like, I'm so into you, but I know this is not going to end well because you're not in it the way I'm in it.
Right, yeah.
So I thought that was really cool because as I was listening to the song over and over, I thought, oh my God, so many parallels to Wildest Dreams.
Yeah. I have a couple of other songs. One is Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Why do fools fall in love?
Oh, that's a good one.
Why do birds sing so gay? Why do they fall in love? Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a good one.
Yes. So
that's like a Happy Days kind of song.
Yes. Yeah. And I think Diana Ross sung that, but that song was by Frankie Lemon and the Teenagers. Okay. And it was released in 1956.
Frankie Lemon and the Teenagers. Okay.
Yes.
Why do they fall in love?
Yeah. And then another song that I have is Aretha Franklin.
Chain, chain, chain.
Yeah, you got that one?
No,
Chain
I
of
thought about it,
Fools.
but I didn't have it on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is obviously a classic.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you think about it, A Chain of Fools. So what is that song about?
This is a song about a woman getting played by a man. She's a link in the chain.
Just a notch in the belt?
Notch in the belt.
Okay.
She was a fool in love.
Yeah. What about this one, Kissing a Fool by George Michael?
Oh, yes.
I love this song. I remember when this song came out and just thinking, wow, this is unlike anything Wham had done and unlike anything George Michael has done.
How did it go?
You are far when I could have been your star. You listened to people who scared you to death, and from my heart. Yeah,
people
always make a lover feel a fool. So this song, I just thought it was so special because it was very unique, and his range, his vocal range is so on display in this song because it goes really low and it goes really high. It goes so low that I mean, it's hard to sing it. I can't even sing some of the lower
When
bits.
did that get, when was that released?
I should have written that down.
Wroten?
I should have written that down.
Derp, derp, derp.
Oh my God. This was off his first solo album, and it did the worst out of all his singles, which I found shocking, but not shocking because it is such a unique song. First of all, he wrote it when he was still in Wham. And he couldn't release it as part of Wham because it didn't fit their image.
Right.
So he had to wait until his first solo album. So he wrote it in 1984, and then it came out on his first solo album.
Okay. And what was that album? Was that the one with, well, I guess it would be nice.
Faith?
If I can touch your body.
From the album Faith.
Okay.
Has got a body like you. Also one of the all-time best
Yeah.
songs. But this song, Kissing a Fool, I just thought was, and it's actually about him having been in a relationship with somebody who just couldn't deal with his celebrity. He says, I don't think I've ever been influenced by other friends as to who I should or shouldn't go out with. Kissing a Fool isn't really about that. It's about a relationship I had with someone who couldn't handle the situation because of who I was. And then he says, I write it in that swing style because I think that period of music had that feeling of resignation. It's very much a late night giving up feeling. And that's kind of, it's kind of like, our love could have been something special, but we couldn't give it a chance.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite George Michael songs. And apparently in a poll of his fans, it ranked number 18th on their favorite George Michael songs.
Interesting.
And George Michael has a lot of songs too, like lot of good songs.
Yeah. Well, interesting segue into another queer artist, Troye Sivan, Fool.
I don't know anything by this Troye Sivan.
You don't?
No, I don't.
I saw him in concert.
He reminds
really
me of
good.
Jojo Siwa. Jojo Siwa,
Oh.
Troye Sivan. Like, I don't know anything about these two artists.
No, I'm a fan of Troye Sivan.
Okay.
I really am. And so this song came out on his Blue Neighborhood album in 2015, which incidentally has a version of a song called Wild with Alicia Cara.
Oh,
And the video was filmed here in Toronto.
really?
Yes. So you see, like, they were on Toronto Island, and you can see the skyline.
Oh, my
and,
God.
Yeah. So, but Fool, this song is really about. It really is like all the tropes of tying in Fool and love together. He was in love with another boy, and it couldn't work out. He wasn't getting the response from the other person.
Well, that seems to be what most of the songs that we've been talking about are about.
And it doesn't matter. Love doesn't have a gender or sexuality. It just is. So the lyrics to this: I am tired of a place. I know people change. I need time to replace what I gave away. And my hopes, they are high. I must keep them small. Though I try to resist, I still want it all. And then the chorus is, only fools fall for you. Only fools do what I do. And it's a beautiful song.
Is it a ballad or a fast song?
It's a ballad.
Okay.
So the Blue Neighborhood album is amazing from start to finish. Absolutely amazing album. And he
Yep.
released the video for this song with another song from that album. So it was kind of like this short movie
Okay.
that tied them together. The video for Fool is actually very touching because it's about two boys, two young, like they're teenagers, I guess,
Mhm.
and they're friends, and their attraction grows. But the one teenager, his father is a real, rough and tumble guy,
Mhm.
and he catches them he catches them being intimate together, kissing or something. And he basically the stops the son from seeing the Troye Sivan character. And then Troye Sivan, his character sees this boy that he was in love with holding hands with another girl in the neighborhood. And so there's this real heartbreak, and it's really quite crushing but beautiful. And as I'm a gay adult, but when I see that video and I think back to, oh my God, yeah, I remember, this was way more than what I would have experienced when I was that age, but I totally connected to that kind of heartbreak and that desire for something that you're just, you're not going to get right now. But then I also project my hope for this young boy. It's like, don't worry, it's going to get better and you're going to find love. And I know you feel really heartbroken right now, but it will get better, I promise. So that's my...
I like that. I have just pulled up Troy's album on Apple Music, so I'm going to listen to that on my way home.
All right.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
So listen, I have one final song before we wrap this shit up.
Okay.
And this is a song that I discovered in my extensive research for this episode. And it's from, I think, like 1962 or something.
Okay.
It is called You're a Fool.
Okay.
All right. So it goes something like this, if I can remember the melody. Loving you is bittersweet. Boy, you swept me off my feet. When you smile, you make me swoon. I want to get you in my room. Tell me, boy, do you like my song? 'Cause, Mike, I've been fooling you all along. April Fools!
Oh,
I just made that up, bitch.
that is very good. Look at you.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I totally would have thought that was a real song.
Really?
Yeah, if you didn't tell me, I would have thought for sure that was a real song. Although 62, that was a bit racy, wasn't it?
Well,
Get
you
you
know,
in my room?
I know, but it's like very like suggestive, but not really saying anything. I couldn't figure out what era to say it was from. I was like,
Okay.
should I say 50s? But I don't know. When's the bluesy era? I don't know.
Oh no, that was very good.
But I fooled you.
You did. I was like, oh, this is quite nice. Oh,
Yeah. I'll write the rest of it if you want, and then I can sing it to you.
Okay, yeah, we'll record that. That'll be like a special release for the little listeners.
Yeah, it'll be our song.
Okay, before we go, have you ever been seriously fooled for April Fools?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Not a real thing. I think somebody switched my sugar for salt, but that's not a big thing. Have you?
I can't remember. Not that I could think of. Dawn's not really a big trickster, so.
Yeah. I feel like if it was something in good fun, but I wouldn't like, I don't know. I don't like mean-spirited pranks.
No.
But no, I've never been successfully pranked or fooled.
All right, I'll have to keep that in mind.
Next year.
Send me some ideas, listeners.
Yes.
Okay.
No, send me some ideas, listeners.
How would they send us ideas?
Oh, well, let me tell you, there are two ways, in fact. The first is what can they do? They can slide into our DMs on our Instagram, our one social that we have, and that is The Little Podcast, or send us an email to lifeisinthelyrics@gmail.com. And you know what? So far, that email inbox has been crickets.
Don't say that. No, we've just been so overwhelmed with so many emails.
Chirp. People text us and they talk to us about it.
Yeah.
But it would just feel so nice to
Send us
actually
an
get
email,
an email.
That would be nice. Yeah.
You know, Vi?
Yeah. That is
Can we just
not
send
an
us
April Fool.
That is not an April Fool.
Yeah.
That's a real ask. And what else can they do, Mike, if they're enjoying listening to us?
They
shoot
can
the
like.
shit?
They can follow. They can share.
Okay.
They can register.
No, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Right.
They can subscribe. And how can they do that? Well, if you're listening, then you know how you can get us. So I won't.
That's true. We don't need to.
All right. Well, thanks, Priya. That was a great episode.
I thought it was pretty good, too.
What were you going to say?
No, I just didn't want to cut you off. And I also didn't want to say, yeah. I'm carefully watching my yeah.
Well, from these fools to you fools,
Yeah.
this is Mike and Priya. Out.
We out.